Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. Hare Hare Krishna. So I'd like to welcome all of you on this weekend. It's a very beautiful location, a perfect weather for a very thoughtful, peaceful mood to listen to Krishna consciousness, Krishna conscious philosophy that we will hear from His Holiness Devamrita Swami. Like to give a short introduction to Maharaj. So Devamrita Swami was born and brought up in New York. Was a scholarship student to the topmost university in America. It's a top Ivy League university, higher than Harvard, higher than Stanford, Yale University. And those who follow they know most of the CEOs and presidents have come from there. And Maharaj comes from a very pious Christian family. Maharaj's brother is a CFO of Toyota, of a very big zone. CEO. So. CEO of Toyota.
North America.
And we can foresee that someone from Yale University Maharaj would have had a similar very high, very lucrative, very high position career. But just at the end of his graduation, he came across books by Srila Prabhupada, the founder of ISKCON. And Maharaj dwelled deep into the books and decided that he would not go in the path of lucrative career and big position. He rather decided to join his spiritual master's very magnanimous mission of enlightening people in the knowledge of Krishna consciousness, Bhagavad Gita, Śrīmad Bhāgavatam. And in doing so, Maharaj took sannyas at a very early age. And Maharaj travels around the world in so many countries, and he's a mentor, he's a teacher, he's a guide, he's a spiritual master to people from all walks, all locations on the earth. Kind of, he has cultivated people from Asian countries, non-English speaking countries, China, Poland, Korea, America, South America, of course India, and in this cultivation, and we have seen that people from these countries, they are such very, as we say in India, very pakka Vaishnavas. Maharaj has cultivated them through his association. And of course, in India, he speaks and he has cultivated hundreds upon thousands of devotees. And of course, we in Melbourne are one of the most fortunate ones. So apart from being a mentor, a guide, somewhere Maharaj is at the bottom a father to all of us. He's a very caring father to all of us, and he's and as they say, a Vaishnav, the one who belongs to Lord Krishna. He's para dukha dukhi. So he is. He feels concern for the sorrows or difficulties of all the people, not like the father in a house who feels concern for his near family, but Maharaj is a dukhi person who feels concern for sorrows and difficulties of people, and in trying to reach out to people, he has been doing this kind of retreats with us. Maharaj has been doing this for more than 2 decades now. Looking at Maharaj, it seems time has not passed, but looking at ourselves, it seems the time has passed a lot. So it's a very wonderful opportunity for us to somehow come in contact with such a wonderful Vaishnava, such a wonderful person who has dedicated, who has given up everything that we have been taught and we are driving for to solve our problems. So let us very warmly welcome His Holiness Devamrita Swami Maharaj by chanting Hare Bol, Hare Bol. Hari Bol.
Om Agana Timirandasya Gyananjana Shalakaya Chakshur Militang Yena Tasmai Sri Guruve Namaha. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shri Vasadi Gaura Bhaktivinoda. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Thank you for coming here to be with us this weekend. And it's not sunny weather yet, but you see, life is like that. You have to take the rain, the clouds, and the sunshine. And then it is said that you'll be successful. But we want to talk about what is success, what is happiness, what is it you're trying to achieve with your life. Now, our dear Nityananda Priya, in making his very generous introduction, said that I gave up a lucrative career and a high position. But actually, I disagree. Serving Krishna and telling others about Krishna is the most lucrative career. And trying to represent Krishna by presenting Krishna's words as they are, that is the high position. Of course, I am low, but the service that Krishna has given me is very high. So what about you? What is it that you're seeking to achieve? It's often said that there's no greater mistake you can make in life than to forget what it is you're really trying to achieve. What are you trying to do with yourself? Now, often you'll say that you're just trying to do your duty, right? But what is the number one duty? This is what we should consider. There's this duty, that duty, another duty, but what is the topmost duty that contains all the other duties? That topmost duty is pleasing Krishna. So today we're going to go a little near Lucknow. Anyone here from Lucknow? No. Anyone? Yes? I can't see in the back. Someone raise their hand? Oh, okay, one person. We're going to go near Lucknow, but 5,000 years ago. I don't think you were there then. The idea that many people today have is that human beings today are the most advanced human beings ever. What do you think? But we're going to go to Śrīmad Bhāgavatam, the graduate study to Bhagavad Gita. And there you'll find out that human beings 5,000 years ago were far more advanced than human beings today. And what is the proof? The proof is in Śrīmad Bhāgavatam. The record of the non-material, transcendental activities of the greatest human beings. So 5,000 years ago or so, they're gathered near present-day Lucknow, an assembly of sages. They're meeting at a place, and it's still there today, Naimisharanya. Anyone been there before? No, but you've heard about it. What happened there? You might think it has no relevance for you, but we're going to disprove that notion today. What happened at Naimisharanya is so important for those who want to think rather than just act blindly. Often people have a fear that by following spiritual texts and listening to spiritual persons, you'll just blindly follow. But look at what's going on in material life. Nothing but blindness. You can ask yourself, why are you doing what you're doing? And often you know the answer. Because I'm supposed to do this. But why are you supposed to do it? Because this person said it, or my family said it, or society said it. Whether good or bad, the point is blind following. So today, we want to go deep into the engine house of our life. Or we want to look at the engine of the car. Lift up the bonnet and see what's going on in the engine of your life. Because you are all here wanting success. Is there anyone here who doesn't want success? That's why you came to Australia, right? And when you, as I often point out, when you go home to visit your relatives, to your city or village, everyone expects that you are a CEO already, right? They expect you to have so much cash, so much credit. They expect you to have investment properties already. The expectations are very heavy to bear, aren't they? And then you may wonder, what about you? Sometimes you wonder, why am I doing this? Who am I? What's the purpose of my life? But then the pressure is on you. Just get busy. Only those who are not productive have time to ask, who am I? What am I supposed to do? But you all want to be productive persons, right? And that means you're not supposed to have time to think about what is the meaning of life. And in such a lifestyle of no time for thought, no time for deep thinking, you're supposed to be happy. Who told you this? So we're going to try to untie this bundle of illusion. And hopefully you'll get a sense of being truly free. Just think of all that has been downloaded into you since your birth. Are you strong enough to find out for yourself what is your purpose, your meaning? Actually, we are all very tiny. But when we take shelter of Krishna and the knowledge that Krishna gives, then we become strong. We're like little weak children who have a powerful Father. But when we forget that powerful Father, we struggle unnecessarily in this world. So bhakti, Krishna consciousness, is all about remembering the Supreme Personality of Godhead, the Supreme Source, Krishna. We are tiny. We are easily bewildered, easily illusioned. But if we take shelter of Krishna, we become strong. Another way you can look at society today is that it's pushing you to think you have strength where there is none. Do this and you'll be protected. Do this and you'll be strong. Do this, you'll be famous. Do this and you'll be satisfied. All of you would want such things. Material fame, material power, material satisfaction. But then there's another part of you that says there's something more, right? But will you have the time for that something more? That's the question. So therefore you say, since there's no time to think about something more, that settles the issue. I want to be a productive person. Productive persons never think about what is the meaning of their life, what is true happiness. The pressure is on you. Finish your studies. Get the job. Before getting the PR, pass the English test. All right, you passed the English test. You've got the PR also. Then what? Marriage. And then what? House. And then children. And then the hope is soon there'll be property investments. And this is the meaning of your life? How empty such a concept is. So we want to fill in the emptiness of your life. First of all, we're not afraid to face the facts of emptiness. It's very good you've come to Australia, because here you can take a deeper look at yourself than you might have done in India. Many of you have noticed, as I often point out, in Australia, you do what you want and don't care what anyone thinks. Whereas in India, you're always worrying, what do they think of me? What do they think about me? In Australia, no one cares. Do whatever you want to do. Walk, stand on your head, anything, who cares? But when you're in India, what are they thinking of me? Here, as I often point out, you have a chance to take advantage of your hybrid status. What's a hybrid? You've got one foot in both worlds. One foot in India and one foot in the Wild West. So you are actually in a very advantageous situation. You're shaken and pulled out of your traditional roots. At the same time, you still retain some benefits of those traditional roots as you make your way through the new frontier of Australia. How many of you plan, if possible, to stay here? Raise your hands. How many plan, returning back to India? Raise your hands. Okay. Most of you plan to stay because you feel it's a better place to be in. More money, more security, more convenience. I was talking to some students from Nepal in Sydney, and they had become bhaktas, devotees. Nice, simple young men, mostly from Kathmandu. So I said, why did you come here? And they said, because in one day of working here, we can make more than we would make working 1 month in Kathmandu. So that was their mentality, their goal, their vision when they first came here. But then they found Krishna. They're still working, but now they have the real wealth. So sometimes there's the fear that if I take to Krishna consciousness, if I take to bhakti, I'll lose my career. I'll lose my success. I'll lose whatever money I have, I'll lose. My parents won't understand. I'll be lost. Krishna's family is very big, and Krishna's family contains the best persons. So you gain so much. What does this material world have to offer you? Krishna points out 4 things that the material world has to offer you. Janma, Mrityu, Jara, Vyadhi. Birth, death, disease, and old age. Oh, but you're not supposed to think about that. Just focus on the success, right? So what pushes you for the so-called success so that you ignore your real treasure, your inner spiritual development? This is why hearing from the sages of Naimisharanya is so important. They're going to ask questions and make statements that are completely relevant for your practical day-to-day life. So what's the scene? Let's go to Śrīmad Bhāgavatam, 1st Canto, Chapter 1, verse 4. This is 4 verses after the Bhagavatam's beginning. Śrīmad Bhāgavatam contains about 18,000 verses. One day you'll read them all. So please chant this first verse with me. First verse that we'll chant. It's the 4th verse of chapter 1. We'll give you an invocation first. Introductory mantra. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Vasudeva is another name for Krishna. So before speaking on Śrīmad Bhāgavatam, we're offering our respects to Lord Sri Krishna. And now we'll chant the first verse. You follow me. Naimishe nimisha chetre Rishya shonakadaya Satram sargaya lokaya Sahasra samamasata. Translation. Once in a holy place in the forest of Naimisharanya, great sages headed by the sage Shaunaka assembled to perform a great 1,000-year sacrifice for the satisfaction of the Lord and his devotees. So what's going on in this situation? These sadhus who gathered thousands of years ago know what is coming soon. They know Kali Yuga will soon be the dominant atmosphere on this planet. How many of you know about Kali Yuga? Have heard about it before? Raise your hand. In brief, Kali Yuga is the worst time you could live in. But you have human beings today thinking this is the best time, that human beings are so advanced. Of course, as the problems today just multiply, intelligent persons are starting to have doubts. They're wondering, have human beings really made progress? How many of you think and wonder about that? Raise your hands. Everyone else is convinced human beings have made so much progress? Well, then you have to know what is the goal of life. And in that way, you can evaluate whether there has been progress. But if I ask you, what is the goal of life? What will you say? Who can tell me? Right now at this moment, what do you think the goal of life is? All right, you're a bhakta, service to him. Don't feel you have to imitate him. Yes.
Birth and death cycle.
What's that?
Getting out of birth and death cycle.
Oh, another bhakta. Someone else. Yes.
Fulfillment?
Fulfillment. What are you trying to fill? You go to the petrol station, you fill it. So what do you mean, fulfillment? Full of what?
Joy?
Yeah. And how do you propose to do that? Your goal is joy, fulfillment. But you just reach out into the air and grab some joy? How do you get the joy? How do you get the fulfillment? Who said money? An honest man. Money is the honey, right? So you came to Australia to get the Australian dollar honey. You wanted something more than the rupee honey, yes? Anyone else? What is the goal? Yes, I always have to remind the ladies that this is Australia, so you can talk. Yes.
Peaceful life.
Peace. And what does a peaceful life look like?
That's what I'm looking for.
Ah, good point. Because unless we know what is joy, what is peace, what is fulfillment, we'll just be chasing illusions. So this weekend, we want to deal with those topics. Joy, fulfillment, peace. And that's what these sages at Naimisharanya are concerned about. They're looking ahead and seeing very soon the age of darkness will arise. Where and how can persons get peace, joy, and fulfillment in such a dark age? Yet, people are so crazy today that they think this is the best that there has ever been. That's why Śrīmad Bhāgavatam is so important. It raises the standard, raises the bar. You think you have civilization today? Think again. So these sages have gathered at Naimisharanya, and they're prepared to stay for 1,000 years. Maybe they'll be replaced by other sages, but the gathering is going to go on because the issue is so important. Have you ever found something in your life that's so important you would attend a 1,000-year discussion? Of course, no one lives 1,000 years these days, but if you did, what would be the kind of conference or assembly that you would attend for that amount of time, for 1,000 years? What is so important, in other words? That's the question you should be asking yourself. What's so important that these sages at Naimisharanya, so close to Lucknow, are meeting for 1,000 years? What's on their mind? This is how Śrīmad Bhāgavatam begins. How many of you have read Bhagavad Gita? Raise your hands. Only a few. And I've heard we have some students of Sri Ishopanishad here. Raise your hands. Very good. So, Bhagavad Gita is spoken on the battlefield of Kurukshetra. Kurukshetra is still there. How many of you have been to Kurukshetra? And you understand it's a Dharma Kshetra. As Krishna says in the first verse, as Sanjaya says in the first verse of Bhagavad Gita, Dharma Kshetra Kurukshetra Samaveta Yutsava. So the Kurukshetra battlefield is important because of its connection to Krishna. It's not that we're interested in just any battlefield, but because Krishna and Arjuna and the Pandavas were there on the battlefield of Kurukshetra, we're so much interested. And similarly, we're interested in what's happening at Naimisharanya. At first, this may be very interesting for you. At first, these sages gathered for Vedic rituals to elevate them to the higher planets. That's the original purpose of your doing your duty. But today in India, people talk about doing your duty, but they forgot where all that came from. So the sages in Naimisharanya, their first motivation was, let's perform a huge yajna, a huge Vedic ritualistic sacrifice for the purpose of good karma. Karma so good we'll go to the heavenly planets. This is karmic activity, material, it's not spiritual. How many of you, when taking your exams in India, how many of you, before the exams, went to the temple of Saraswati and did some puja? Raise your hands. So that's this Vedic knowledge of ritualistic sacrifices, yajnas, for material purposes. That's what's being talked about here at first. So you didn't understand this whole background information to your doing some little attempt at a yajna to please Saraswati. You just thought, who knows, it might work, right? You never know. So these sages had material motivations at first, but they had a bigger goal in mind, not simply to pass the exam, but to, in the next life, go to the higher planets and enjoy. But something happened as they began their presence at the yajna shala, the site of the yajna. They met with Sutta Goswami, and we'll talk more about why meeting Sutta Goswami is so important. He aroused in them inquisitiveness. Is there something beyond these rituals? This good karma effort? Is there something more than that? So in the presence of a Krishna Bhakta, the sages started to reevaluate why they're doing and where they want to go. What is their aim? What is their goal? So this weekend, we want to do a reevaluation. I hope no one is afraid of that. It seems very easy to march ahead blindly, doesn't it? It seems that so many people in society will pat you on the back. You're just busy, that's wonderful. How many of you have been to the zoo in Melbourne? No. Amazing, I didn't think any. It's famous, Melbourne Zoo? And you've seen the monkeys? Which are better, the monkeys in the zoo or the ones in India? Huh? Oh, how many have seen Vrindavan monkeys? Those are special monkeys. The monkeys are very busy, aren't they? Always doing something. And it seems to them that whatever they're doing is so important. So what about us? We do not want to become busy like monkeys. The goal is not to be busy. The goal of life is to understand where you're going. What is your ultimate destination? What are you trying to achieve? That is why we're having our own little Naimisharanya gathering right here. Congratulations, you're present. And we'll have a discussion of what is most dear to you, the meaning of your life, the goal of your life, what you're trying to achieve. Some of you said peace, others say joy, another said money. Should we offer some arrangement here? Make some arrangement here of Saraswati Puja so you can pass any exams? Should we do that? No, what we are aiming for is to please the source of everything, the cause of all causes, Lord Sri Krishna. Our aim is much bigger, unlimitedly bigger. But then you'll say, Swami, we have to live. In order to live, we need this, we need that, we need this kind of success, that kind of success. That's all right. But don't forget what is your number one goal. You see, many times people think spiritual life means all or nothing. Either you're a full bhakta or else don't bother at all. But there are different levels, and you have to start out at one level, then go to another level in bhakti. So please don't have this notion that you got to give up everything if you want to practice Krishna consciousness. First, crawl before you walk, and then walk before you run. Bhakti is practical. I often explain in my travels around the world when I'm speaking. I ask, do you know how I started to chant the Hare Krishna mantra? Did I do that as soon as I popped out of my mother's womb? I was Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare. I wish. No, I started chanting Hare Krishna, Japamala, when I was 21. I started with 1 bead a day. Not 1 round, 1 bead, 1 mantra, then that's it, that's enough. So what do you think? I always tell everyone when I explain this point, if there's hope for me, just think how much hope there is for you. Many of you are starting with 1 round a day. How many chanting 1 round a day? Raise your hands. Very good, thank you. How many 2 rounds a day? Raise your hands. Very good. 3. More than 3, raise your hands. Just see. And I started with 1 bead a day only. So you have such great potential. That's my point. And I'm happy to be here this weekend to serve you all. by pointing out what is it you're trying to achieve. What are you expending all your energy on? Why? So the sages who've gathered at Naimisaranya, and remember, we're having our own miniature Naimisaranya gathering here. There's no big, huge sacrificial fire. But there is sacrifice, there is yajna. How many know what the yajna, the sacrifice is that we do here this weekend? Yes. Sankirtan, together glorifying Krishna. That is the prime ritual, the number one yajna for this day and age. So the sages gathered at Naimisaranya, they are gradually understanding. Our original purpose in gathering was faulty. Our original purpose was to do punya, do some good karma, and go to the heavenly planets. But by the association of the Bhakta, Sutta Goswami, they got another vision for their life. And this is what we want you to hear. Another vision for your life. One that doesn't jeopardize, endanger your career, your studies, your family. You can put Krishna in the center of all that. Now you may ask, okay, Swami, what you're saying sounds good, but what about you? You let all those other things go and you're exclusively focused on Krishna. You let go your material career, your material aspirations, your material success. Of course, I already explained that I have the most lucrative career. But you'll say that very few persons, if any, want to be a Swami or can be a Swami. To that I reply, and I explain this so you won't have any fear. Just like you go to the university and there are lecturers. You need a few lecturers for a university to happen. Similarly, you need a few Swamis. Not too many, but a few specialists who can focus 100% on a particular subject, Krishna. Just like at the university, a lecturer is supposedly expert in a certain subject of material knowledge. So you need a few specialists. Everyone will agree? But don't worry, you don't have to become one. Okay? Put Krishna in the center of all your activities, your studies, your work, your families, and you'll see the difference. And gradually, as you make advancement in spiritual life, you'll let go of your material attachments gradually without being distressed about it. The more you come in contact with Krishna, the less you want to contact the material illusion. This happens naturally. That's why I'm so glad to hear that so many of you are reading Sri Upanishad, Bhagavad Gita. Now we're discussing Śrīmad Bhāgavatam, the graduate study of the Bhagavad Gita. So many of you are chanting on Japamala. Everyone here is taking Krishna Prasad, right? Anyone who wants to avoid that? This weekend we have the most expert chefs offering to Krishna such a wonderful lunch. Anyway, we don't want to talk too much about it. You'll get hungry. You'll get lost thinking about your tongue. But what does Krishna say? Devotional service begins with the tongue. The tongue chants the Mahamantra, and the tongue tastes food offered to Krishna. So how can you object to that process? We're not asking you to become a Swami. We're just asking you, with your tongue, vibrate the Mahamantra, Hare Krishna, and taste food offered to Krishna. Does anyone have any objection to that? So back to the sages at Naimisaranya. Their leader is Shonaka Rishi, and Shonaka Rishi is going to inquire from Sutta Goswami. And we'll find out what are the qualifications of Sutta Goswami. In other words, if you're going to ask questions, what is the goal of life? What is real success? What is real peace, joy, happiness? Even, where's the money? You need a qualified expert in that field. So, in the coming classes, we'll discuss what are the qualifications of someone who can actually benefit you in your life. But first, I want you to visualize this huge group of sadhus gathered at a sacrificial fire yajna. The yajna fire is so big that smoke is everywhere, ashes are blowing everywhere, but the sages are determined to stay there because they have the most important thing to discuss. How will people benefit in the coming age of Kali Yuga, which is soon upon us? And we are already in Kali Yuga. It's happened. We're functioning in the darkest time of human existence. So you might say, well, why is this the darkest time? I have my smartphone, I have my laptop, I have this, I have that. How could this be the darkest time? Yes, you have all those gadgets, but you don't know who you are. You don't know why you're here. You don't know what is your goal in life. So shall we continue just marching ahead like robots? Or are we going to take some time to think? So this weekend is so special for you and me because it gives us a chance to think about why we're doing what we're doing. Otherwise, as I explained, the common notion in society is that anyone who has the time to think about what is the meaning of life obviously is not a productive person. In other words, the predominant notion is that productive persons have no time to think. But we're going to break away from that common notion this weekend. And we're going to show what is real productivity. Real productivity leads to real success. Real productivity means to understand, are you the body, are you the mind, or are you something different from the body and mind? Then you can, knowing this, you can establish your goals. But if you think you are the body, then how can you accurately establish goals? Not possible. So rather than just our marching in step like robots, we want to break away from that blindness and discuss. Let's discuss where we're going and why. So we'll look at the next text, text 5. Ta ekadatu munaya pratahuta hutagnaya satkritam sutamasinam praprachur idam adarat. One day, after finishing their morning duties by burning a sacrificial fire and offering a seat of esteem to Srila Sutta Goswami, the great sages made inquiries with great respect about the following matters. So the point is made in the purport by His Divine Grace Srila Prabhupada that when Bhagavatam is being discussed, or Bhagavad Gita, the audience can present questions to the speaker, but this should be done in a respectful manner. Respect for the speaker and respect for the subject that the speaker is delivering. Without that kind of attitude of showing respect, you can't actually understand. Now, this is very difficult for contemporary people to grasp, to understand. They say, well, what does it matter how I ask a question? It's all about just getting the answer. But here in Śrīmad Bhāgavatam, we learn that the way you do things influences the outcome. Your attitude leads to what you can understand or what you can't understand, depending on your attitude. So we're going to learn from these sages at Naimisharanya how to respectfully put forth the most important questions. So it's not just some empty ritual that they're being respectful and very pukka in their questioning. They know this is the process by which you understand non-material knowledge. Another point that you may pick up from this weekend is that you'll see the origin of duty consciousness, respect for elders. That's all coming from the original Vedic culture, in which duty means what brings about the pleasure of Krishna. What is the duty that will purify your consciousness so that you can better understand Krishna? Because otherwise you may be wondering, why should I do my duty? The older generation, perhaps your parents, most likely your grandparents, they'll just tell you, do your duty, do your duty. But why? Often, when I'm speaking in India, people will say, Swamiji, in Bhagavad Gita chapter 2, Krishna says, Karmani eva dhikaraste. Do your duty. But they forgot the second half of the verse. What's the second half of the verse? Who knows? Meaning, you do your duty, but you're not entitled to the fruits, the results Everyone forgets that part. Just do my duty and I get everything. Krishna in Bhagavad Gita says, do your duty, yes, but the results are offered to Krishna. That understanding given in Bhagavad Gita has degenerated or become corrupted into just do your duty, do your duty, do your duty. And no one tries to understand what is the topmost duty, what's your most important duty. Just do your duty, do your duty. I'm doing my duty, everything is fine. Why are you doing your duty? Who's the duty for? Who is the person that you have to be most dutiful to? These questions we need to consider. And this is how we ask questions to consider such subject matter, with great respect for the subject matter. The sages at Naimisaranya will demonstrate that. So they finish their morning duties. The sacrificial fire is burning, and they've offered a seat of respect to Sutta Goswami. And they've made inquiries with great respect. This is exciting. You're in touch with something for real, something genuine. And you'll learn so much by focusing on the questions asked by these sages. They're basically 6 questions. In this way, you can begin your life of real success and real achievement. So we want you all to be successful. We want you to be high achievers. But the question is, what is success and what is the high achievement? So I hope you're ready to go deeper into those subjects. Some of you, how many of you here are from Adelaide? Raise your hands. Very good, you're welcome. We hope that you'll take this information back to Adelaide and use it to nourish your spiritual life and to focus your material life in such a way that you'll actually be successful without being in illusion. It's possible when your life is Krishna-centered. To become a Krishna Bhakta doesn't mean you're a fool. It means you are the most expert. Just like Arjuna was so expert. Krishna didn't tell Arjuna in Bhagavad Gita, Arjuna, I'll drive the chariot, you sleep in the back. No, Arjuna is showing such expertise. So the Krishna Bhakta is no material fool. The Krishna Bhakta is the most intelligent. He or she knows how to balance the material and spiritual affairs so that you achieve the ultimate goal of life. And then you can finally understand what is peace, joy, fulfillment. You'll even understand what to do with the money. Maybe we should ask if there are any questions. Whoever asks the first question gets a special prize at lunchtime. Oh.
My question is, again, I asked this question, that there's a lot of, can you hear me now?
Now I can hear you.
There's a lot of focus on having a goal in life, right? I just want to ask, where does that stem from? Why do I need to have a goal in life? And I ask this also because I've seen a lot of spiritual leaders saying that you don't necessarily need to have a goal in life.
Oh, that's the goal, huh? That you don't need to have a goal. They're cheating you. And they call themselves spiritual leaders. You don't need to have a goal in life. They're giving you that goal. Goallessness is the goal. Just like so many cheater spiritual teachers tell you, they write books, and in the books they say, you don't need books. Everything about your spiritual life is within you. But why did you write the book? People are so easily cheated these days. It's so sad. How can you live without a goal? Just animals do that. But even still, animals have goals. Eat, sleep, reproduce, protect themselves. But human beings with the higher consciousness are meant to have higher goals. So where does this goallessness come from? It's now, this notion is circulating in India now?
And it's a very famous spiritual leader, very respected one.
It's been hashed and rehashed in the West 30, 40 years ago. So now it's made its way to India, this rubbish. Living without a goal. What does that mean? Explain. What does it mean? How do you live without a goal?
Again, this is what he says.
No, you tell me.
I also tend to agree a little bit that life is also about enjoying small things, like enjoying music, culture, arts. Like that would also be something that you look forward to in life.
In bhakti, we have music, we have art, we have food, we have families, their children, but it's all Krishna focused. When you have lunch in a few minutes, you'll be tasting high art. So what is this that in bhakti there is no culture, no activities of enrichment, personal development? So they tell you just enjoy in the moment. Let me tell you something. Any animal can do that. But the human being thinks, why just enjoy for one moment? Where is lasting enjoyment? That's what the human being should be thinking. Otherwise, you just have animal life. Live for the moment. Any animal can do that. Go to the Melbourne Zoo and study the creatures. They live for the moment. But you are a human being. You should be thinking, why just momentary happiness? When you start thinking like that, that's when human life actually begins. So don't let these cheaters bewilder you, I beg you. It sounds good, doesn't it? What do you think they've been doing in Australia, USA, UK for centuries? Just live in the moment. Look how happy they are. You might say, well, they're not happy, but they have money. But even that's in doubt these days. So someone can be a famous so-called spiritual teacher saying such things. Just live in the moment. But they're doing a great harm to society. Where is the knowledge of what is the ultimate goal of life so that you can have enjoyment that doesn't end? That's what Krishna wants to offer. That's the career I became interested in. And that's what you should be interested in also. So these so-called spiritual leaders who say that just live in the moment, that's the art of living in the moment. Be happy with what's happening in the moment. They're doing a great disservice. A real human being wants to get to the bottom of the mystery of why my happiness always ends after one moment. That's why the sages at Naimisharanya have gathered to get to the bottom of this issue. So you raised a very good question, thank you. What's the special prize she'll get at lunch for being the first one? First in the queue. Okay. Arjuna Sakha here has spoken. She took advantage that this is Australia, so even though she's a lady, she could ask the first question. Whereas at home, you wouldn't, in India, you wouldn't do that, would you? You would, oh, you're a rebel, huh? Very good. Any other questions? The men have no questions. Yes.
A lot of people, including a lot of scientists, come to a strong mindset that no, we are actually advancing forward with time and we are at the peak of it. Can you tell
We are advancing forward, and what else?
so can you tell more about how we are going the other way around in Kali Yuga as Kali Yuga?
Can't you see it all around you? Climate disruption, the nuclear threat, economic uncertainty, political instability. Don't you see all that happening? What animal destroys its own habitat? Yet human beings are doing that. Now they're having a big international gathering about climate change in Dubai, which is the worst offender. United Arab Emirates. But yet they're having an international meeting about reducing fossil fuel emissions in the place that's the biggest offender. And while they're having these meetings year after year, simply the rate of fossil fuel emissions increases. Right while they're having meetings that we should decrease, meanwhile it's increasing. They can't control their mind and senses. The real problem is toxic consciousness. That's what we're addressing here, and that's what the sages at Naimisharanya addressed. Toxic consciousness, that's the real problem. What about the threat of nuclear warfare? You know about that? India and Pakistan are always competing. Who can have the most nuclear weapons, the most advanced nuclear weapons? Pakistan's a little bit ahead now, of about 160. India's only got 130. The USA is spending over the next 30 years $1 trillion to upgrade its nuclear forces. And then Russia, at the drop of a hat, Russia is saying, our nuclear weapons are on a red alert, ready to fire. So destroying the whole planet, this is scientific progress. Krishna refers to this in Bhagavad Gita, Shayaya Jagato Hita. Chapter 16, divine and demoniac nature. Those of demoniac nature make plans that lead to the destruction of the world. Look and see throughout the world how families are breaking apart, even in India, right? Divorce in India used to be so rare. Now, not so rare. Mental instability, mental disorders, anxiety disorders, depression, so common. In the USA, One group of health experts, mental health experts, just said that actually everyone under 60 should be tested for anxiety disorder. What kind of society is that? So many statistics like that. Life in India still has some kind of stability based on the original Vedic culture. But that stability today in India is corroding. You're not like your grandparents, right? And what do you think your children will be like? They'll grow up here in Australia? Oh, you'll take them all back to India? Huh?
Not sure. Not sure yet.
Not sure yet. Oh, you'll be a brahmachari? Arjuna Saka is waiting. No, don't worry. Often there's this fear that as soon as your tongue touches the Hare Krishna mantra, you become a brahmachari. Often you have to explain to your parents that's not the case. So you can make a factual study about how this human so-called civilization is falling apart. Look at the slaughter that's going on in various parts of the world, based on ethnicity, nationality, and so-called religion. That's no sign of advanced civilization, that's animal life. We believe in this religion. This is our holy place. We'll kill you. No, no. Our religion says this is our holy place. We'll kill you. And who suffers? The ordinary people, especially the women and children. Whereas in the Battle of Kurukshetra, who were the casualties? The warriors, the professional warrior class, the Kshatriyas. That's why Kurukshetra, is Kurukshetra still such a remote place? No, it's all built up now. Back 5,000 years ago, it was a very remote place. So all the best warriors went to Kurukshetra to fight. That means they didn't involve the ordinary population. But war today means what? First kill the civilians. The idea is by killing the civilians, then the civilians will complain to their leaders, we want to surrender, just give the other side what they want. We don't want to be killed. That's the idea. Slaughter the women and children, and there'll be an uproar. We can't go on like this. Let us give up. This is demoniac. Whereas in the Battle of Kurukshetra, no civilians were harmed. And the professional warrior class, like Arjuna, Karna, Bhima, Duryodhana, they loved to fight. They couldn't miss the battle. They had to be there. It's the greatest thing for them. That's the professional military class. But today, the ones who suffer are the ordinary people, the civilians. This is totally demoniac. Hospitals are bombed and children are killed and women are raped. That's war today. It's horrible. Anything else? Yes.
When we make any conversation, we refer to humans as artists.
When you start again, please.
Yeah, so I'm saying that in conversation, we generally would refer to humans as the smartest life on the planet.
In general conversations, we refer to human beings as the smartest Living creature.
What's your view on that?
What's
What's your view on that?
what's your view? You tell me first.
It's another illusion, maybe.
Definitely it's an illusion, except that human beings have the potential to be the smartest, but now they're the dumbest. They're destroying their own habitat. What animal does that? Elephants will trample everything in a forest and then leave and go somewhere else and come back when the forest that they trampled has rejuvenated. Human beings destroy their own environment and expect that that's called progress.
So in this context, then probably no goal is a good goal for humans.
In this context,
On the same line, then probably no goal is good goal for humans.
wait a minute now. You're another supporter of the goallessness philosophy? Materialists have a goal to make money and enjoy the senses. So they talk about goallessness, living without a goal, ha ha. And the bogus spiritual teachers who say that, they've got goals. Money and enjoying the senses. These cheater spiritual teachers, they know if we say nonsense like that, we get so much money. People are already in illusion. You don't need to give them any more illusion. So this living without a goal is recycled rubbish left over from the West 40 years ago. Now it's hit India. The latest import to hit India. But we've heard this, I remember in the 90s in Australia and New Zealand, there was a buzz, living without a goal, goallessness. It only lasted a few years because everyone realized whether you say you have a goal or you don't have a goal, the bottom line is make money and enjoy your senses. What do you think? Not for you. That's why you're here this weekend. One last question. You haven't asked before?
I asked a small question before.
Let's see if someone else who hasn't asked a question has one. Yes.
Yeah. So when we compare the timelines, the earlier time was not. When we compare the timelines, the earlier time was better and now it is getting worse. So is it like there was an in-between time frame where it was worse and then it is slowly getting better? Like let's say 500 or 600 years back, when the normal age would be around 30 or 40 years, and there would be no medicines or something like that, and there would be slavery and all those things. So is it comparison between that timelines or the one that we are making 5,000 years ago?
Bhagavatam will teach you something very interesting about lifespan. In the second canto, Shukadeva Goswami spoke Bhagavatam and Sutta Goswami was in the audience. Shukadeva Goswami says, Kim pramatasya bahubi parokshaya ayanayava. What's the value of a long life wasted without bhakti? Better a short life, better live for one moment than waste a long life in materialistic consciousness. What do you think? Success is not the length of your life, the success is the quality of your life. We all are going to leave these bodies, but what has been the quality of our life?
But you can have a big and a quality life as well.
You can have a what?
You can have a larger and a quality life as well.
Exactly. But still, longer life, you will die. Shorter life, you will die. So the sages at Naimisharan, they want to know, what will you do with your life, whether short or long? because you will have to give up this body. What is your goal in this life and the next? You understand? No? Okay. Bhagavatam will refocus your intelligence. We've been brainwashed. Oh, in the past they may have lived longer. But living longer means more time for destroying the earth and destroying each other. What's the point of that? Bhagavatam will refocus your intelligence so that you understand whether a long life or a short life, the whole point is to develop your bhakti. Otherwise, Shukadeva Goswami says, what's the use of a long life wasted by years of no experience, no understanding of what the ultimate goal of life is? Think about it. So this afternoon, we'll go more into success, peace, joy, money. I can tell you, all money should go to Krishna. That's expert financial management. But then, you have to take care of yourself, you have to take care of your family. So if you remind me later in this weekend, I'll explain spiritual economics, okay? All right. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna.